Okay, I want to start today with a video of the Kavkaz 2020 joint military exercises being held in southern Russia. There they are. Exercises. They lasted about a full week, included a host of cooperating countries. Listen to this list: Iran, Armenia, Belarus, China, Myanmar, Pakistan, Azerbaijan, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Sri Lanka, even India, who, as I mentioned, only backed out at the last minute because of some COVID-19 issues. So here's the question. Are these exercises a direct result of U.S. adventurism, or is it the reason for U.S. adventurism? It's one of those, like, which came first, right? The chicken or the egg? This is important. Here's RT correspondent Alex Mihailovich setting this up for us.
From maritime drills at Russia's doorstep to ships patrolling the South China Sea, the U.S. Navy has spread out around the world and is creating tension in the backyards of others, including China. Here's U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper.
Not only is this region important because it is a hub of global trade and commerce, it is also the epicenter of great power competition with China. And in the face of destabilizing activities from the PLA, particularly in the maritime domain, the United States must be ready to deter conflict and, if necessary, fight and win at sea.
A conflict that Esper may be alluding to could be tied to a dispute in the South China Sea, where currently China, Vietnam, Malaysia, the Philippines, Indonesia, and Brunei all have overlapping territorial claims. While the countries involved have managed to move forward with the disagreement peacefully, the U.S. has stirred the pot in the region both through rhetoric and military patrols under the guise of freedom of navigation. Thousands of miles away, the U.S. is also pushing buttons in the Black Sea, in Russia's neck of the woods. In July, Russia intercepted an American reconnaissance flight over the Black Sea, and the U.S. held military drills in the same area over the summer. And then, of course, there's Iran. Just last week, a U.S. aircraft carrier and several other warships passed along Iran's coast through the Strait of Hormuz, in what the U.S. Navy describes as a scheduled maneuver. From the global economy to troubled waters, it is clear that China, Russia, and Iran are all being targeted by the U.S. However, that doesn't mean those countries aren't preparing to counter any attacks. This week, Russia concluded joint military drills in the Black and Caspian Seas, which included troops from Iran and China, as well as Armenia, Belarus, Myanmar, and Pakistan. Approximately 80,000 personnel participated in the drills, known as Kavkaz 2020. With common defense goals and the U.S. presence in their backyards, these joint exercises have become a staple for many of the nations involved.
Chinese Army units regularly join us in our military drills and war games. As for other, more distant countries, I don't believe that distance matters that much nowadays, given all the transportation options and ways to deploy troops over long-haul routes.
While many may deem U.S. naval behavior as threatening, it seems that America will not be backing down anytime soon. According to the U.S. Defense Secretary, he plans to expand the U.S. Navy's military might by adding both manned and unmanned surface and submarine craft to the naval fleet, while further exploring the use of artificial intelligence in warfare. For RT, I'm Alex Mihailovich.
And for more on this, we're joined now by John Sidelides, who's a geopolitical strategist at Trilogy Advisors, and Mohammad Marandi, who is a professor at the University of Tehran. My thanks to both of you, gentlemen. Professor, I think I would like to start with you. Iran, by joining in these military exercises, is giving the United States, an excuse to be adventurous. They're the cause for America's adventurism. No?
Well, I think the invasion of Afghanistan, of Iraq, the destruction of Libya, U.S. support for extremists in Syria, and of course the genocide in Yemen, where the Americans have been helping the Saudis, along with a very long history of U.S. involvement in different countries such as Vietnam and elsewhere, I think are themselves evidence enough that the United States does not need any country to provide it with an excuse to launch attacks or destroy countries. And the only reason why the Iranians carry out such maneuvers is because it is the Persian Gulf. The United States is projecting power in a Gulf that's named after Persia, after Iran, just like the South China Sea, regardless of the territorial issues that exist between the countries of that region, it is called the South China Sea. So it is China's backyard and not that of the United States. So the United States thinks that the whole world is within their sphere of influence, yet it does not tolerate, if it cannot tolerate countries to have maneuvers in its own backyard, I think that's even a sign of how bad things actually are with the United States. And just one final point is that what the United States has done is that it has created so much chaos and destruction that now other countries are mimicking the United States. We see Turkey helping to destroy Libya, projecting power in Armenia and Azerbaijan, supporting extremists in Syria, Saudi Arabia doing the same, along with the Emirates in Yemen and in North Africa. So the Americans have not only created destruction, but they've also helped other countries to move in the same direction.
John, could you respond to that?
Yeah, first, let me just take exception with the premise